all get to that stage in our vegetable gardens where we get pests. And it's so unfortunate, but it is the natural way. And I'm going to show you today 3 really great techniques that work with probably the most common pests that we get. And I would say they are aphids, whitefly, rats and mice, slugs and snails, really the bullies of the garden. I'm going to start off by showing you how to create a beer trap. For those of you who have watched this program before, you'll know I've made it before, and it's my go-to when it comes to slugs and snails. All you need is some beer, the cheapest you can find, and an old yogurt container. We like to use things that have been used for something else before. Recycling and upcycling is really important. As you can see, I've cut these holes 2 centimeters high by 4 centimeters wide, and I've made them right at the top of the container. The reason is because I'm going to bury this into the soil and only have the little windows sticking up above the soil level. What happens is the snails are attracted to the smell of beer. Now, you only need a little bit of beer, probably about 4 centimeters to fill the bottom. So once you've cut out the holes, you fill your beer to 4 centimeters at the bottom. It will of course be buried in the ground first, and then you put the lid on. This will prevent water from your sprayers or when you're watering your garden getting into your beer trap and diluting the beer. So make sure that you actually close it, that it's quite snug and tight fitting. Beer really does something for the snails and slugs. So they come along and they fall through these windows, and unfortunately they drown. You'll find that when your beer trap has filled up completely, all you have to do is turf out the beer and the snails. They'll naturally degrade and decompose into the ground, adding more nutrition in your soil. Another absolute ingenious method that I found, because mice and rats are a big problem. They can literally chew your vegetables, especially your seedlings, down to the ground overnight. So what I've discovered is they really don't like the smell of strong things like peppermint, lavender, cinnamon and clove. So I've made a trap, or a deterrent you can call it, that can chase them away using those very scents, and I'm using essential oils to do that. I've chosen peppermint, cinnamon, clove and lavender. You could even add eucalyptus or change one of them, but I wouldn't use less than 4 of those to make your rat and mice deterrent. What you'll need is the super absorbent cloth, which I've cut in 4, because this is really the size that you need. You don't need more than that. I've got my essential oils over here, which I'm going to make sure that this cloth gets really saturated with quite a lot of the smell. We've got our lavender, clove or cinnamon. Lastly, I've got some peppermint oil. And you can actually see the drops that they've now gone into this super absorbent fabric, and the smells, I mean, I can even smell it. It's lovely and quite refreshing. I then roll this up like that, fold it and put it in a jewelry bag. There you go. Roll the jewelry bag up and fold it again. I then have taken a cottage cheese container and I've made it into what looks like turrets from a castle. And the reason why I've done this is because I'm going to place this directly on the sand, and you cover it with your cottage cheese container. And the smells literally waft through the sides. It really is a strong smell. But in a few weeks' time, you will notice that that smell has dissipated. All you do is you take it out again, your super absorbent cloth, put more of the essential oils on, wrap it up, and put it back in your garden. The last pests, aphids and whitefly. Now, these are definitely always abound. If you find that you have a few aphids on the underside of your leaves, which is where they normally are, as well as whitefly, you can just wipe them off with your finger. But with whitefly, the minute you walk towards the plant, they fly away, and that's a real problem. So this is another go-to of mine, and I must say it's not something that you should use all the time, only in extreme circumstances. And the reason is because both aphids, whitefly, and all your beneficial insects, or most of them, are attracted to the color yellow. So what we do is we make these yellow card traps. You simply need some yellow cardboard. An A4 size is perfect. Fold it in half. I'm going to tear it down the middle. Fold it in half again. And I'm going to punch 2 holes at the end so that I can stick the skewer through and then use them as a flag to get pushed into the ground right next to the plant. Even though this goes right next to the plant, make sure that it doesn't touch the plant at all. And the reason is because you have to smear Vaseline all over the card so that the insect sticks to the Vaseline. I'm just going to do one side here to show you. What the Vaseline does, it also protects the paper from getting sodden, so it acts like a barrier. And then all I do is I pop this into the ground like a flag. It's not a good idea to leave these in the ground for more than 2 weeks because, as I mentioned, it does also attract your beneficial insects, and you'll see that a couple of them will die too. So those are my absolute 3 go-to projects when I have those pests in my garden. The fabulous thing is that they really do work. We try not to use any sprays even though they are organic, and we always use these should we come into that circumstance. Remember that healthy soil keeps your plants really strong, so it helps them to fight off any kind of attack. Healthy soil, healthy plants, healthy people.